There is a question that will either make you wealthy or haunt you for the rest of your life. It is not a complicated question. It does not require a financial degree to understand. It requires only the courage to answer it honestly and the wisdom to act on it immediately. The question is this: when will you start? This is the story of two students who received the same lesson on the same day and made very different decisions. One of those decisions built a fortune. The other built a life of regret. In the ancient city of Nishapur, where the desert wind carried the scent of roses and the libraries held more books than any city in the known world, there lived a scholar named Cyrus. He was not a wealthy man in the way merchants were wealthy. His riches were of a different kind. He had spent 60 years studying the movements of money, the patterns of trade, and the quiet mathematics of time. Kings had consulted him. Merchants had paid dearly for an hour of his counsel. And yet Cyrus lived simply, in a modest house beside the great library, surrounded by scrolls and the smell of ink and cedar wood. Every year he accepted 2 students, not for payment, for the pleasure of passing on what 60 years of observation had taught him. The year our story begins, 2 young men arrived at his door. The first was named Darius. The second was named Farid. Both were 17 years old. Both were intelligent. Both were hungry to learn. What separated them was not ability. It was a single decision they would make on the last day of their studies. On the very first morning of their studies, Cyrus sat both students before him and placed 2 small seeds on the table between them. They were identical in every way. Same size, same color, same weight. "What do you see?" he asked them. "Seeds," Farid said immediately. Darius studied them longer before answering. "Potential," he said quietly. Cyrus smiled at both answers. "You are both correct," he said. "But only one of you has understood what I am about to teach you. A seed is not valuable because of what it is today. It is valuable because of what it becomes over time, provided it is planted, watered, and left alone to grow undisturbed." He picked up both seeds and held them in his open palm. "Gold," he said, "behaves exactly like a seed. In your hand, it is simply gold. But planted correctly, in the right soil, at the right time, left to grow without interference, it becomes something no amount of labor alone can produce." He closed his hand around both seeds. "The most important word in that sentence," he said, looking at both students carefully, "is time." Over the following weeks, Cyrus taught both students what he called the mathematics of patience. He unrolled a long scroll across the floor of his study and showed them a single calculation that neither student ever forgot. "Suppose a young man of 20 plants 10 gold coins in the right soil," Cyrus said, drawing on the scroll. "And suppose that soil returns to him 7 coins for every 100, every single year, and he never touches what grows. By the time he reaches 60, those 10 coins will have become 149. Farid leaned forward. "Without adding anything more?" "Without adding a single coin more," Cyrus confirmed, "simply by planting early and leaving it undisturbed." He drew a second calculation beside the first. "Now suppose a different young man waits until he is 30 to plant the same 10 coins, in the same soil, at the same return. By 60, he will have 76 coins. Both students stared at the scroll. "Same coins," Darius said slowly. "Same soil. 10 years later, and he loses nearly half?" "He does not lose it," Cyrus said gently. "He simply never allows time to create it. Time is the ingredient that money cannot replace. You can earn more gold. You can find better soil. But you cannot buy back the years you chose not to plant." "But master," Farid asked one afternoon, "where is this soil you speak of? Where does a young man plant his gold so that it grows reliably without him tending it every day?" Cyrus rose and walked to the window that overlooked the busy market below. He watched the traders for a long moment before answering. "You see those merchants?" he said. "Each one trades in something specific: silk, spices, copper, grain. Each one rises and falls with the fortune of his particular trade. A drought ruins the grain merchant. A new trade route ruins the silk trader. But the city itself, the sum of all their trades together, grows year after year regardless of which individual merchant prospers." He turned back to his students. "Do not plant your gold in one merchant's hands. Plant it in the city itself, in everything at once, in the collective movement of all trade together. When you own a small piece of everything, the failure of one thing cannot ruin you, and the growth of everything, over time, carries your goal forward without you lifting a finger." Darius wrote every word down carefully. Fareed nodded and said he would think about it. On the last day of their year of study, Cyrus gave both students a gift, a small pouch containing 10 gold coins each, identical in every way. "This is not charity," he told them. "This is seed money. What you do with these coins in the next 30 days will determine more about your financial future than anything else you learn in your lifetime." He looked at them both with the steady patience of a man who had watched this moment play out many times before. "Plant it," he said simply, "as soon as you leave this room, not next month, not when you feel more ready, not when the market looks more favorable. Now, today. The seed does not ask whether the season is perfect. It only asks to be planted." Darius walked out of the study, went directly to the most reputable trading house in the city, and placed his 10 coins in a diversified fund that moved with the collective trade of the entire region. He did not touch it again. Fareed walked out of the study, held the pouch in his hands for a long time, and decided to wait. Just a little while, until he understood the market better. Until the moment felt more certain. Until he was truly ready. 20 years passed. Darius had built a quiet, comfortable life. He had continued working as a junior scholar, earning a modest but steady income. He had never become rich in the way the great merchants were rich. He had simply planted his 10 coins at 17, added a small amount each year when he could, and left it undisturbed through every market storm, every drought, every war, every temptation to withdraw and spend. At 37, his original 10 coins had grown into something that no longer required his daily labor to sustain him. Fareed had also worked steadily. He had earned well in some years and struggled in others. He had finally planted his 10 coins at 27, 10 years after Cyrus had given them to him, when he finally felt ready and certain enough to begin. At 37, Fareed's fund had grown, but it had grown to roughly half of what Darius had accumulated. Same coins, same soil, same return. 10 years of waiting had cost Fareed more than half of his future wealth. Not through any mistake, not through any bad decision. Simply through the invisible, irreversible cost of time not used. The two former students met again at their old master's house to mark 30 years since their studies had ended. Cyrus had passed away a decade earlier, but his modest home had been preserved as a small library open to any student who wished to learn. They sat together in the same room where they had first heard about the seed in the soil, and they spoke honestly with each other for the first time about money. When Fareed heard the full difference in their outcomes, he sat quietly for a long time. "I was not foolish," he said finally. "I did not waste the coins. I simply waited until I was certain." "I know," Darius said gently. "That is the cruelest part of this lesson. It does not punish foolishness. It punishes waiting. And waiting always feels like wisdom in the moment." Fareed looked around the old study, at the scrolls still lining the walls, at the window that still overlooked the market below. "If I had one piece of advice to give a 17-year-old today," he said, "it would be the same thing Cyrus told us on the last day. Plant it now, not when you are ready, not when the moment is perfect. Now. Because the cost of waiting is not paid today. It is paid 30 years from now, all at once in full. Here is what Cyrus taught his students, and what Darius understood immediately while Farid understood 30 years too late. The power of investing early is not about money, it is about time. Money you can earn more of, skills you can develop, knowledge you can acquire. But time moves in only one direction, and it does not slow down while you prepare yourself to use it wisely. Every year you wait to begin investing is not a neutral decision. It is an expensive one. Not because something bad happens, because something good does not happen. The growth that should have begun this year begins next year instead. And the year after that, and the year after that. Until one day you sit in an old scholar's library and calculate, with perfect clarity, exactly what the waiting cost you. The mathematics are not complicated. Start at 20 with 100 coins per year. By 60, you may have over 500,000. Start at 30 with the same 100 coins per year. By 60, you may have just over 200,000. Same discipline, same amount. 10 years later, 300,000 coins lost to waiting. Not to bad decisions, not to bad luck, to waiting. You do not need to be wealthy to begin. Cyrus gave his students 10 coins each. The amount is not the point. The point is the soil. The point is the planting. The point is today, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the market looks calmer, not when your income is higher. Today. Plant whatever you have today, because 30 years from now, when you sit somewhere quiet and calculate what time is built for you, the only question you will wish you had answered sooner is the same one Cyrus asked his students on their very first morning together. When will you start? This has been Wisdom on Site. The best time to plant was yesterday. The second best time is right now.